Hello, and welcome to Steve's Mixtapes. My guest this week is an author, comedian, and a musician, and he's also the man behind the website Daily Reckless, which is, well, I'll get him to describe it in a minute, but here's a sample of a song from it.
We do not like what has happened where we can't even go to Thanksgiving dinner with our uncle because you end up in some weird fight.
Totally weird.
Well, it's true. These guys are just...
Totally weird.
Well, it's true. These guys are just...
Totally weird. Totally weird.
Us MAGA Republicans banned abortion. That's just the start.
It's just the start.
If Trump gets elected, we want the government involved in all aspects of your sex life.
Way more involved.
That was a bit of Totally Weird. Some other songs you might like to look into on Daily Reckless include Les Zeppelin, which includes Les Dawson doing a bit of a vocal over Kashmir, a mashup of The Fall and Tommy Cooper called Joker Hysterical Fez, which I particularly enjoyed. And there's also one about fall cliches, which I'm going to come back to and ask Tommy about that. So I'll put links up to the website on there. We also have one important thing in common. We've both written a book about the fall. In 2018, Tommy published a book called 40 Odd Years of the Fall, and like my own book, it originated in a blog, in Tommy's case, The Story of the Fall, which began, I think, in 2006, where he posted about a fall song every day, and I'll put a link to where you can buy the book on the website. So, hello, Tommy.
Hello. Nice to be here, Steve.
So, first of all, how would you describe Daily Reckless?
How would I describe the Daily Reckless? Well, it all started as a parody of the Daily Record, which is a big paper up here in Scotland. And so I was just slagging them off, basically, parodying that paper. And eventually it evolved because I got involved in music again. And so I started posting music on it as well. And then I got into the comedy scene, and so I used that as a backup for my website. And so it used to be topical. I used to sing a song every week about the news. So it used to be Daily Reckless, the paper that sings the news, but now it's evolved because I've got so fed up with the news. It's the taglines, the paper that's sick of the news.
I was going to ask you about that because I read an article the other day that said the number of adults who don't access any sort of news at all on a regular basis is like gone up by 30-something% or something.
Well, that's me.
That used to be very, Is that you? Because I mean, I've given up on the news years ago. It's just the world's gone to pot, hasn't it?
Well, I used to watch the news religiously every night, but I don't now. I don't watch it on the telly anymore. I think probably just get my main news from the web now. That's it. I know that's unreliable as well, but now I've just stopped taking an interest in the news, especially this year. It's been like, I just cannot stand to see that orange guy again. You know, it's just too farcical and stupid, and it can't be arsed with it.
Becomes so like something from a dystopian novel that it's beyond funny, isn't it?
It's beyond funny, exactly. I mean, I did loads of stuff about Trump the first time around and Boris and all that, you know, when it was sort of, well, these guys are ridiculous, you know. It was easy to do comedy on them, but now it's just boring to actually parody people like that, you know. There's no fun in doing it anymore. And the thing so I just do my own thing.
And when you look at his supporters, you're not going to change anybody's mind with it, are you?
Well, no. I mean, I don't think that was ever my intention. I never thought I would change anybody's mind, but it was good to take the piss out of them, you know, just to know where you stand, you know.
So, tell us about the journey of the blog into the book, because you know we had a similar sort of story. I didn't do a song every day, but I was doing, you know, batches of 5. I've become known as the Falling Fives for doing that. So, but we must have been doing a similar sort of rate because I was doing those about, you know, one or two a week. And then you had the website, The Story of the Fall, and obviously you took it down to make it into the book. How hard did you find it to convert one into the other?
It was quite easy, actually, because just cut and paste and then edited into a more translatable book format.
Yeah, I think yours was probably easier than mine in a way because you kept the song by song thing, and I made it into a narrative. And what I discovered was when you're writing for a blog and you got, you know, include hyperlinks and all this sort of stuff, it doesn't work in a book. So
I had to take out a lot of hyperlinks.
I was very, very lucky to have Ian, who you from Root Publishing, who's published all of Steve and Simon and Paul's books.
Mhm.
He was a fantastic editor and helped me along the way. I thought I knew a lot about writing until I did a book. It was hard
Right.
work.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Well,
lot of hard work.
it is. It was a lot of hard work. Yeah. So anyway, as I mentioned before, one of my favourite of your songs that I've come across on
Hmm.
Telerex, I'm just going to get it up here, was Fall Cliches.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because it is, if you
Get
do
that.
know a little bit about the Fall, the things that you see, the lazy journalism and the
Yeah.
comments in social media and stuff, it's just infuriating, isn't it?
Mm.
So I'm just looking at, I particularly like the line "badly drawn anecdotes about badly drawn boy,"
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
and the fact that you rhymed "badly drawn boy" with "noi,"
No. Aye. There you go. There you go.
and
I
that
was
bit
trying to get
about,
a difficult rhyme in. Yeah.
and that bit where people put "ah" on the end of his word.
That's the biggest cliche. Yeah. People think it'd being funny if they mention the phone, something like that. They'll quote you something back and put at the end.
Oh, yeah, it's really annoying. Of course, you've missed the biggest cliche of all out, which is the granny on bongos thing, which drives me mad as well.
Yeah. Well, I did a whole song about that.
Oh, yeah, actually, no, now you said that, that rings a bell. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to find
That
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 one.
was on my fall album that I did to go along with the book. Granny. Hold on. I'll just type in Granny.
Yeah, hang on, I'm just going
Bring
to
it
look
up.
at the link.
There we
Oh,
go.
yeah, granny on
Bongo.
bongos. Yeah,
There we
yeah.
go.
I forgot what that one sounds like, so I'll have to dig that out, and I'll put a link. I'll put a link to all of this stuff on the website. Anyway, probably about time we got to some music.
Yes,
So
yes.
you'll hit the ground running track. I've it's very chronologically confusing doing this podcast because sometimes I'm interviewing people after. Well, basically, I have recorded a full related one, but it's not out yet. But it will be out by the time this one is out. See what I mean? It's all very chronologically confused. It's like being in an episode of Doctor Who, basically. So I did have this earmarked for my finale track on that mix, but when I saw you,
sorry about that.
no, not at all. I'm very happy to hear this as an introduction. I'm very happy to hear this at any point in a mix. So we'll talk about it in a minute. Let's hear it now. So anybody who knows anything about the Fall will recognise this.
Mr. James Fennings from Prestwick in Carberry. Down! The flag is evil. Full of cavalry and cavalry. His first appearance was on Moscow Road. The poster came at first. At first I thought it was just a poster. I was talking to Jane Seymour. Eyes wide open. The neck was slightly dislocated. the street, there was a repellent, plastic, sad poster with a picture. Do you work? I was on one leg at the top of the street. There's a poster, a plastic front, from Moscow Road it came, from Deansgate it came, from Nine Records it came. I was on one leg. I had to be in by 9:30. I said, walking Venus, paper times two, paper times two. Paper everywhere, and not a drop of water to be seen. I said, I saw a poster. I am licking my foot. I am licking my foot. Everywhere I look, I see a blind man. I see a blind man. Everywhere I look, I see. I can't get my eyes closed. My blue eyes can't get chance. I'm only a one leg. I says a poster. Where's the curfew over? I said, blind man, have mercy on me. I said, blind man, have mercy on me. Blind man, have mercy on me. Oh, great one. I am a receptacle for a test for your sandalwood and other assorted wastes. I am black, real, blind man. Have mercy on me. I got a metal rag. Flat is the evil of cavalry and cavalry.
Absolutely marvellous. The Mighty Blindness, recorded for John Peel in 2004 by The Fall. I often ask people, why did you choose that one to introduce the mix? I mean, I hardly feel I have to ask the question, but I'll ask it anyway.
Well, it's just right in your face. It's just a great way to start any selection of tracks, isn't it? It's just a gut feeling that's so great that every time you see them live, even if it's a meh sort of gig, but they do Blindness, and that changes everything, Yeah. It's a shame it has to come late sometimes in the set because you've suffered a bit of mehness all the way through, and then all of a sudden Blindness explodes. It's just one of the best live tracks I've ever heard live. It's always something different. Oh, and Neil slipped into a cliche there, but it's always different. But love it.
Do you have any time for any of the other versions?
Well, I've listened to more. I went for, as you say in your book, the cliche of the Peel session version. But I've got loads of live versions. I couldn't off the top of my head name you what my favourite one, the live ones were. But that definitely stands out. Yeah, that one.
Okay. Well, on the page for each of these mixes, where I can, I add a YouTube playlist and a Spotify playlist for people who want to listen and don't want to hear the chat, or why they wouldn't want to hear the chat. I can't imagine. This obviously isn't on Spotify, so normally I would not bother with a Spotify list, but as everything else is there, I've replaced it with the Live at the Hammersmith Palais.
That's a good one too. Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah,
it's actually a good album, that, isn't it? Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned before, I'm hoping at some point to talk to Rob Barbaitan, who did appear on the Fall in Fives radio show. He was a really, really nice guy. As I've talked about with who was I talking with? Gavin Watt. I don't know whether you've come across the We Are the Fall podcast. Two American guys going through the Fall's back catalogue.
I'm aware of it.
Incredible detail.
Yeah,
actually. They do like an hour's worth of podcast on side A of an album.
Right,
they really are going for it. Anyway, talking to him, and we were just discussing how the Dudes. It's a real shame that it was never really a great album recorded by them.
But that live one at Hammersmith,
yeah, that live one is a cracker. So I didn't think you'd mind me replacing that at the top of your Spotify.
No, I'm not precious. Don't worry. I can put anything in there.
Now, question I ask pretty much all of my guest mixers is, have you always been one for making mixes and compilations?
Well, yeah, when, you used to do it when you were a kid, cassettes and stuff like that, used to do that. Yeah. Did that a lot. A
lot of people then come and confess that their wives, girlfriends, whatever, they used to make them compilations. Is that something you ever did?
I did, actually, for my wife, yeah. The Sweets of Sin, it was called. I remember it now. Pretentiously, it had a Turner picture on the front.
Okay.
And it was named after a line from Ulysses.
Oh, right, okay.
Lots of songs. I don't think there was a fall song on that. Not very romantic stuff.
What year are we talking about?
We're talking here about the 90s is one I remember. Okay. Because it was from my wife, because you brought up wife, so that was 90s, because it had the Might Be Giants on it.
Okay.
So yeah, late 90s, that's when I first met wife.
Okay.
So yeah, but before that, in 70s and 80s, it'd be stuff on C90s, stuff like that.
Okay, right. We'll go on to your something old choice. You've gone for something from 1972, a single Marmalade. Now, Marmalade sort of a band I'm vaguely familiar with. I didn't know this song. In fact, I'm not quite sure how to say the title. Do you know how to say it?
Radancer.
Radancer. Okay.
Aye, like it's Scottish for the dancer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, dancer. Yeah.
So what is it about this one that you love?
Oh, I just love the riff in it, and it just reminds me of school discos. When I was like, I must have been, you said 72 it came out?
Yeah.
So it'd be about 12 or 13 when that came out. And it was just brilliant. Marmalade, very underrated group. I mean, they're not huge, but this was a revelation when it came out, because it was just such a huge glam stomper.
I was going to say, it's got that sort of joyous glam stomp about it for its characteristic of the era.
And it's just joyous, especially if you get a good recording of it. I hope you can find a good.
They're a bit forgotten though, aren't they? Because when you compare people like the Sweet and Mud and so on, who people do remember, Marmalade disappeared.
Well, yeah, they weren't really part of the glam scene to begin with, because they sort of cottoned onto it. Because before that, they were doing like covers of Obladi, Oblada and stuff like that. It was sort of around the fringes. And I don't think Radancer was a big hit, but it was at school discos when I was 12 or 13.
Well, it was definitely a big hit with you. So let's hear it. This is Marmalade with Radancer.
When the band played, man, I
Red Answer by Marmalade, a single from 1972. The something old choice of my guest mixer this week, Tommy Mackay. So we're on to something new now, and another question I ask pretty much everybody is about how you keep up with releases that come out. There's something ridiculous like 100,000 new songs come out online every day. There's no way anybody can keep up with it. But how do you try and make sure that you don't miss out on good new stuff that's coming out?
Well, I do a radio show as well, and so I've got to play new stuff on it occasionally. And it's usually random, to tell you the truth. If I just hear something randomly on social media or something, I've never heard that before, or I'll be investigating a new group or artist that I've never heard before and delving into their back catalogue. But as I say, it's usually random, and I like it better that way because there's so much stuff comes out now that I can't consciously listen to everything that comes out. So when something catches my ear that isn't, formulaic, there's so much formulaic stuff comes out now and isn't boring or bland or if it's different, a wee bit different, catches my ear, then...
Well, that leads us nicely into your something new choice, because it's something a bit different. I'd not heard of this artist. Funnily enough, I was in Oswestry this morning with my kids, and there was a elderly gentleman in a rather tatty-looking suit setting up his stall and putting out his Reform UK leaflets, and I was almost tempted to stop and have a chat with him and exchange views, but I thought it's not really worth it, to be honest. But the reason he sprang to mind is that the artist you've chosen is, and I've looked him up, is a British-born Nigerian based in Sweden, which sounds like the sort of thing that gives members of Reform UK nightmares, doesn't it?
Exactly.
And I looked him up on his website, and it said he is a poet, workshop facilitator, musician, and founder of renowned poetry music magazine Po Jazzy. I mean, this is all news to me. I don't even quite know how to say his surname. Do you?
I'm assuming it's Joshua Idehen.
I think it's Idehen, yes. It's Idehem.
Could be proved wrong, though. I don't know. I've never seen it, heard it said out loud, if you know what I mean. It's strange, yeah.
So this is your something new choice. How did this come to your attention?
It was just a couple of weeks ago. I was looking for stuff for the radio show, and it was just on, I think it was on Blue, somebody had posted it on Blue Sky. Is that what it was? And I thought that's an interesting title, Mum Does the Washing. Might be a comedy song, because I've put quite a few, comedy song types in the show. So I listened to that, and it's just brilliant. It just goes through every single ism, every single political philosophy outlook, and relates it to how his mum does the washing, and it's the lyrics are incredible and very funny and spot on. I mean, the guy's brilliant.
I mean,
I'd never heard him until a couple of weeks ago, till I heard the song, and then I've since looked at his other stuff. It's great.
I mean, I wasn't surprised to see he was involved with a poetry magazine, because it is a very poetic lyric, isn't it?
Hell yeah, it's a superb lyric. Yep.
Okay. Well, let's hear it now. This is Joshua Idehen with Mum Does the Washing.
The world, according to your mum, doing the washing. Capitalism. Your mum does the washing. You pay her $1. You get her to do your mate's washing. Your mate pays you $50. Communism. Your mum does the washing. You do the washing. Every night you salute a picture of your dad. Socialism. Your mum does the washing. You do the cooking. Everybody is happy, in fury. Feudalism. Your mum does the washing and pays you tax. Colonialism. You barge into your mom's room, claim you discovered your mom's room, dump all your dirty clothes on the floor. Fascism. Your mom does the washing, and you are obsessed with her nose. Liberalism. You watch your mom do the washing and you feel really, really bad. Something must be done, you say. Something may or may not get done. Libertarianism. Your mom does the washing. You believe you did the washing. Religion. Your mom does the washing. You thank God. Atheism. Your mom does the washing. You make a 12-part YouTube video demanding peer-reviewed evidence that she did, in fact, do the washing. Zionism. You shoved your mom into the washing machine, and the spinning made her dizzy, and that dizziness made her vomit, and you point to that vomit and call it anti-Semitism, Americanism. Your mom does the washing. It's in the Constitution. End of discussion. Mansplaining. Your mom does the washing. You tell her how best to do the washing. You have never done the washing. Same-sex marriage. Your moms do the washing. Patriarchy. Your mom doesn't exist. The washing is mysteriously done. Turfism. Your mom doesn't want your other mom doing the washing because of, like, genitals and stuff. Polling. There's a 70% chance you will do the washing on Saturday night. Come Sunday morning, it was 100% done by your mom. Africanism. You go to Benny's house. Benny's mom does the washing. You ask your mom why she doesn't do the washing. You do not survive the night. Feminism. Your mom insists you grow up and do your own washing. White feminism. Your mom hired a woman of color to do the washing. Male feminism. That one time I did the washing, I told everybody I did the washing. I blogged about it, bragged about it, took a selfie, Insta story, went on TV, won an Oscar, went on Fortnite, did a dance. I am an ally. Hashtag me too. Egalitarianism. That one time you did the washing is proof it's all equal and no one needs feminism anymore. Hip hop. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. When I bring the basket, mama puts the washing in. Narcissism. You look good in the clothes your mom washed. Surrealism. The washing does your mom.
Mum Does the Washing, a 2024 single by Joshua Idenhen, the something new choice of my guest mixer, Tommy Mackay. Right, Something Borrowed next, and you've gone for somebody who I'm a huge fan of. I went through a huge David Bowie phase I can tell you pretty much exactly when it was, but from about 1981 to 1983. I had been a heavy metal head.
Okay.
That was the age of the new wave of British heavy metal and Iron Maiden and all that, Saxon and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I got bought a David Bowie album. I forget which one. And anyway, so for a couple of years I was completely obsessed, and I spent all my pocket money, all my birthday presents, everything, buying all of the albums up to Scary Monsters. And then Let's Dance came out, and I really didn't like it at all. I was very disappointed, and I sort of lost touch with David's work for a long time after that.
Yeah.
But anyway, really, the 70s albums, I mean, they are just incredible. I mean, enough has been said and written about them, not for me to try and add to it, but the 70s albums are incredible. When I first bought the one that you've chosen something from, I must confess I was a little bit disappointed at the time, because after having been playing Ziggy and Station to Station and Young Americans to Death, an album full of covers felt a bit... But I have grown very fond of it. You've gone for Sorrow. What is about this one that led you to choose it?
Again, it's a schoolboy memory. I used to, when I was about 13 or 14, write my own top 10 every week in a wee notebook. I can still see the wee red notepad. And I had the top 10 every week that I'd write down, which I thought was the best songs at the time in the charts. And Sorrow was at number one for about 20 weeks. It was, it was like my Bryan Adams, everything I do. It was just, I just loved it. Well, I think it might have been because there was quite a few mediocre songs around at that time, and that just stood head and shoulders above them. But I was a huge Bowie fan. Anyway, the first gig I ever went to was David Bowie, and that was on the Ziggy Stardust tour. So I've always been a huge Bowie fan since then. I say Bowie, you say Bowie, We have a huge debate about that in Scotland. Most people in Scotland say Bowie, but
okay,
yeah.
And David himself used to say Bowie, didn't he?
Bowie, that's right. Yeah, but we think he's mistaken there. He should have said Bowie. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
But no, Sorrow is a really good cover, and as you say, a lot of people were disappointed in his covers thing, but it was sort of brought out quickly.
It was, yeah.
Just after he said he'd retired from music, Hammersmith and that. And I saw somewhere online recently that Brian Ferry was a bit miffed because he just brought out a covers. These
Yeah, was
Foolish
that when
Things.
he brought out Hard Rain? Was that?
It was on These Foolish Things, his album, yeah. But I actually thought Pinups was great. I mean, I just loved everything Bowie did at that time. It was really good. But between that was just that. What was it after? It was after Aladdin Sane. Between Aladdin Sane and Diamond
Diamond
Dogs.
Dogs, yeah.
God, Diamond Dogs was superb. So yeah, Pinups. It's all right. It does the job. It's good, and I just think his version of Sorrow is superb. I'd never heard the original before I heard Bowie's version, and Bowie's version is just it's gorgeous. That saxophone, marvelous.
Too long blonde hair and your eyes are blue. The only thing I ever got from you was sorrow. Sorrow. You're acting funny, trying to spend my money. You're out there playing your high-class games of sorrow. Sorrow. You never do what you know you ought to. Something tells me you're the devil's daughter. Sorrow. Sorrow. I tried to find her 'cause I can't resist her. I never knew just how much I miss her. Sorrow. Sorrow. With your long blonde hair and your eyes are blue. The only thing I ever got from you was sorrow. Sorrow. With your long, long hair, I couldn't sleep last night. With your long, long
David Bowie with Sorrow from his album of covers Pinups, released in 1973. If I had to pin you down to a favourite David Bowie or Bowie album, Tommy, could I?
Favorite album, Bowie. I would probably say Aladdin Sane.
Okay.
But I've been listening to a lot of his 2000 stuff and all that recently, and there's a lot of good stuff. That like yourself, I drifted away from Bowie in the 80s, and that just thought his later stuff was a bit meh. But I've been re-listening to it, and it's Buddha of Suburbia. I'd never heard that album before. And that's really bloody good. That's top notch, that is.
Yeah, I think I've only ever listened to that once. I might have to.
Yeah, well, I just listened to it for the first time a few weeks ago, and I was blown away. I thought, geez, I had no idea that was so good.
There is one later one that I've heard that I always keep meaning to go back. Is it called Outside?
Outside as another one. This is really good as well, yeah.
Yeah. I think I would probably have to go for Diamond Dogs.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, yeah, that's probably my second favorite.
And I know it's very different. I've always loved Young Americans. One of the reasons I loved Young Americans was when I first bought it, I thought, oh God, I don't listen to this sort of thing, because up to that point in my life, I never really had anything to do with soul or jazz or funk or anything like that. It was all alien to me. And I found myself loving it despite the fact it was a genre that I thought I didn't like. So that kind of makes it quite a special album for me, but yeah, it has to be Diamond Dogs for me. Speaking of favourites, you've also, for your Something Blue choice, chosen something from my favourite Captain Beefheart album.
Oh, yes.
So well done on that. Yes, I've got various mixes lined up, and I keep wanting to squeeze Big Eyed Beans from Venus in somewhere because I absolutely love that. But it's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
album. But you've gone for one of the Captain's more melancholy moments, obviously. The
Yes.
Blue.
Yeah, because it was blue and because it's got blue in the title.
And it's quite
So I went for
romantic as well, isn't it?
it's lovely actually. I've got the lyrics up here. It's called Horizon, 3 million miles. Far as I can see, she loves me. I can't see what she sees in a man like me. No, it's just really, it's very un-Captain Beefhearty, you know. I mean, my favourite is Trout Mask Replica, but this is 1 million miles away from that. And it's a good song with blue in the title. And I wanted to pick a Captain Beefheart anyway, so that just seemed to slot in there. I could have chosen 12 of Beefheart ones, but there you go. I
Oh,
went just went with that.
you were a big fan of the Captain then?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear him in perhaps uncharacteristically mellow and romantic mood. This is Captain Beefheart with Her Eyes Are a Million Blue Miles.
I look at her and she looks at me. In her eyes I see the sea. I don't see what she sees in a man like me. She says she loves me. Her eyes, yeah, her eyes. Her eyes are a blue million miles. Far as I can see, she loves me. Her eyes, yeah, her eyes are a blue million miles. Far as I can see, she loves me. Yeah, her eyes. Yeah, her eyes. Her eyes are a blue million miles. I look at her and she looks at me, and in her eyes I see the sea. I can't see what she sees in a man like me, and she says she loves me. Yeah, her eyes. Yeah, her eyes are a blue million miles. Yeah, her eyes. Yeah, her eyes. Oh, her eyes are a blue million miles. Her eyes, yeah, her eyes. Oh, her eyes are a blue million miles.
From the 1972 album Clear Spot, Captain Beefheart with Her Eyes Are a Million Blue Miles. So that's eased us down a little bit in terms of tempo and mood, and you're going to take it down further with your take it down choice, Tommy.
Yeah.
You've gone for somebody who I'm fairly ambivalent about, to be honest. I know a lot of people really dislike him. Obviously, he has
Yeah.
fans. I would say he's one of those people that I could quite happily make a sort of 10-song compilation of things I quite like. And if I was ever at a festival and he played, I'd probably happily, go and sing along with the famous ones and so on. I'm talking about Elton John. And you've gone for a song from Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy, which, when I looked it up, is not an album I knew very well. There's only a couple of songs in it I knew, really. But this is one of the more famous ones. Someone Saved My Life Tonight, which I hadn't really taken in until I looked it up a bit, is a song about somebody considering suicide.
Yep, himself. It's just, and as you say, a lot of people slag Elton John off, but my God, the melody in this is incredible. I love it. Butterflies are free to fly. That line, the way he sings that, it's great. And Elton John, he does a lot of stuff, but that album's really, I like that album. And obviously, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Yeah, I think it really stands up. It's a superb double album. Some really brilliant stuff on that. And the Dirt Cowboy one, it's good stuff as well. But Someone Saved My Life Today, I think, is his best song that he's ever written. And there's lots of different bits to it. Do you know what I mean? It's like the piano bits sounding a bit classical at some point, and then develops into, I think it's quite an emotional song. And obviously it's, a subject which is hard to sing about. And I'm not a huge Elton John fan, but I think I could pick more than 10 for a compilation of good stuff that he's done. Because there's stuff tucked away in his albums that aren't famous, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously felt very strongly about the song because I was reading up about it, and it's nearly 7 minutes long, and he refused to have it edited down. Which, when you think back to the days of the charts and radio play and all that sort of thing, I was anything over 3.5 minutes was considered a bit long. But so actually to release something that's nearly 7 shows quite a bit of commitment to it.
Oh yeah, he's quite the rebel, old Elton.
Absolutely, yeah, okay. Well, let's hear it now. This is Someone Saved My Life Tonight.
When I think of those East End lights, muggy nights, the curtains drawn in the little room downstairs. Prima Donna, Lord, you really should have been there, sitting like a princess perched in her electric chair. And this one more beer, and I don't hear you anymore. We've all gone crazy lately, my friends out there, rolling round the basement floor. And someone saved my life tonight, Sugar Bear. You did, you nearly had me roped and tied. All about hypnotized, sweet freedom whispered in my ear. You're a butterfly, and butterflies are free to fly. Fly away, high away. Showers, slip news hanging in my darkest dreams. I'm strangled by a haunted social scene, just a pawn outplayed by a dominating queen. It's 4 o'clock in the morning, damn it, listen to me good. I'm sleeping with myself. Saved in time, thank God my music's still alive.
Right, my guest mixer this week, just to remind you, is Tommy Mackay of the Daily Reckless, amongst other things. And he is just about to move on to his Around the World choice. Again, one of my questions I usually ask my guest mixers is, do you listen to a lot of music that is not sort of US, UK based?
Not as much as I should, I think. But yeah, I do try to. Um, Probably because it's not UK, US based, it's not out there as much. But yeah, I like to listen to a lot of reggae and, of course, a lot of German, German stuff. But yeah, I do try and keep away from the mainstream as much as I can. But yeah, Black Uhuru, I just love their vibe. It's sort of, I don't know, it's not the usual reggae stuff I listen to, but it's got a sort of poppy reggae.
I was going to say it is quite poppy, this one, isn't it? When I saw it written down in your email, I thought, no, I must know that one. And as soon as I played it, I thought, oh God, yes, of course I know this one. Yeah. So what led you to choose this particular song by them?
It's a song I've always loved. The first time I heard it, I thought this is superb, and it stood the test of time. It's never sounded dated like so many songs when you're young. You used to love sound dated now, or you've gone off them, or you've heard them too much. But I can never hear this song enough.
Life is a spell. What is life?
Their 1984 single "What Is Life?" that was Black Uhuru, the around the world choice of my guest mixer Tommy Mackay. Now we're going left of centre. You've chosen an artist, one album in particular of his. I used to play to death when I first got it. The album was Dandruff.
Oh yeah,
Which I absolutely loved. I used to play that all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
there are a million compilations, cassette tape CDs I've made that has one of his songs, particularly at the end or at the beginning.
exactly. Yeah, because it's just
Yeah,
so small.
that's
Yeah.
it. So it's,
I
it's
know.
Ivor Cutler we're talking about. This is a song from an album he did with Linda Hurst.
That's
I
right.
looked
Yep.
her up,
Mhm.
and she is the head of vocal studies at Trinity Laban Conservatoire of Music and Dance in Greenwich, London.
Right.
There you
Okay.
go. So I didn't know much about Linda Hurst, but anyway, tell us about this choice, Women of the World.
Women of the World is just a superb song by Ivor Cutler, and it's just all about women of the world and how they should take over. And his original version of it is brilliant, but the one he does with Linda, she's just got such a great voice. I love that quirkiness in her voice. It's just such a great song. And I saw after Ivor died, there was a tribute to him in Glasgow. I can't remember. I think the whole cast in it sang "Women of the World" in it, and that was brilliant. It was a brilliant rendition of it then. But it's a great song, and Jim O'Rourke covered it as well. Do you know Jim O'Rourke? Used to be in
Yeah,
Sonic Youth,
yeah.
and I think that was probably the first time I heard that song because I didn't know Ivor's version before that. But when I heard Jim O'Rourke doing it, I thought, God, that's a great song, and I had no idea it was an Ivor Cutler cover. And his version goes on for about 8 minutes or
Well, I haven't
something.
heard his version, but I've written it down.
Oh,
on
you'll
my
have to
notes.
listen to that. That's a
Look it up.
revelation. It just
And
goes
stick-
on and on and on. And the repetitiveness of it. Very good.
If there was anybody listening to this who hasn't heard Ivor Cutler, and I feel very sorry for them if they haven't, but how would you describe Ivor Cutler to somebody who's never heard him before?
I would describe him as a very funny poet, great philosopher, good Scotsman, and a unique, eccentric sort of thing. I could go on and on. I've actually just sent in a proposal for, the 33 and a third books.
Oh, yeah.
I sent in a proposal to do one because they didn't have Ivor Cutler up there at all.
Okay.
So I sent in a proposal for Jammy Smears. Do you know that one? It was just before Dandruff, I think. It was his last one for Virgin.
Okay. I might know some of the songs off it, but I'm not.
You will do. Oh, you'll definitely know
right.
some of the songs off Jammy Smears. It's the one where he's on the front like that.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think the first ever song I heard by him was one of the Life in a Scotch Sitting Room.
Oh, yeah. It's
The one
got a
where
lot
the kids
of them,
taking turns. Is that the one with the kids taking turns to pee out the window or something?
That's the one.
I think I possibly heard that.
Micturating into a sponge at some
That's
point.
the one, yes. Oh, that's a great word and well used. Yeah, I possibly heard that on John Peel, I would imagine.
Yeah, he did loads of
Ivor a
jobs.
lot.
I think The Fall did more sessions for John Peel and then Ivor Cutler, or vice versa.
There's a footnote in my book that goes through them, and I'm not going to dig it out now, but somewhere they talk about it because I think David Gedge could claim to have the same number as The Fall, because if you add together the Wedding Present, the Cinerama ones, I think it's the same. It's a long time since I wrote it now. But yeah, Ivor Cutler was certainly in the top 3 or 4 for numbers of sessions, and quite right too. So anyway, let's hear it now. This is Women of the World.
Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long. Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long. Men have had their shot, and look at where we've got. Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long. Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long. Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long. Men have had their shot, and look at where we've got. Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long. Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long. Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long. Men have had their shot, and look at where we've got. Women of the world, take over, because if you don't, the world will come to an end, and we haven't got long.
Right, Tommy, we're on to your wild card choice now, so you can choose whatever you like for this category. Interestingly, you've chosen a band that quite randomly I've seen perform in Florida.
Oh, really? Cool.
Bit odd. Well, it's a slightly odd story. When I was 23, my parents rang me up out of the blue. I have a sister who's 10 years younger than me, and she'd been desperate to go to Disney World. So my parents had booked this summer holiday to go to Disney World. You know, one of these ones where you stay in the Disney hotel with the resort, you know, and Goofy and all the rest of them are surrounding you when you have your breakfast. It's very, very bizarre. Anyway, they rang me up and said, look, we've looked into it. They do this family package for 4, and it's hardly any more money than for the 3 of us. So do you want to come? And I thought, well, I've got no money at the time, so I was 23. So yeah, I went to America. While we were there, we stayed in Florida. We did 2 weeks in Orlando, Disney World, and a week in Clearwater, which is jet skiing and all that sort of stuff. And while I was there, I picked up a local paper, and it said had a list of gigs that were playing, and Lush were playing, and They Might Be Giants were playing. And as there's if you are a 23-year-old young man into music and whatnot, there's limited appeal for you going on in the Disney Resort Hotel of an evening. So got my dad to give me a lift into town, and I saw They Might Be Giants play at a gig in somewhere in Orlando. I can't remember the actual venue, and I sort of chose it, really only knowing Birdhouse. That was the only song I knew. And I have to say, they were brilliant. They were really, really good. I was really quite impressed with them, yeah. And it was really incredible to go those 2 gigs, because American audiences are very different. Because I remember I went to buy a beer, and the young lady behind the bar asked to see my passport, as they do, because they're very strict on this sort of thing. And we got talking a little bit, and she, as a lot of women do, I love your accent and all this sort of stuff. Anyway, so I went to the second gig a few days later, and I said, can I get a beer? And she said, can I see your passport? I said, I was here like 4 days ago. Do you not remember me? We talked. Said, if I serve you a beer and don't ask for your passport, and my boss sees that, I'll be fired on the spot. So they're really, really strict in it. What that means is there were loads of like 13, 14, 15-year-olds in the gig, which you wouldn't get in
Ah,
this country, and it just gave it
okay.
a sort of quite nice, enthusiastic vibe.
Oh yeah,
Because
it's
people,
always full of joy. Yeah.
yeah, well, people will send their let their 14-year-olds go to gig because they know that they can't drink because there's actually there's no way they can get a beer. So it was just
Mhm.
an interesting experience. Anyway, so what's your They Might Be Giants story?
Oh God, I just love them. And you're lucky I've seen them live because if nobody's seen them live, it's a superb performance. They always put on something
I was
different,
really
really
surprised how good
entertaining.
they were. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're incredible. I just saw them recently. I'll say recently, the end of last year in Glasgow. Still superb. You know, they always put on a great show. They're superb raconteurs. And so many good songs. I mean, a lot of people just think they're nerdy type group, but it's
Well, I think
clever
people see
stuff.
them
And a
as a
lot of it's
novelty
dark as
act, don't
well.
they?
Hmm?
People see them a bit as a novelty act almost.
Exactly. Well, I hate that when people go on about novelty acts. People who are so sincere about music and really piss me off. You know, it's like, oh, rock against earnestness. That was the thing I used to rock against. But They Might Be Giants write some brilliant songs. They really do. And a lot of them are really dark, you know, about death and stuff like that. But they sing them in a jolly way. And it's not novelty. It's just really good songwriting, you know. And they did an album called Apollo 18, where they had tiny, tiny bits of pop songs, which they put between the tracks originally, but put them all together, called Fingertips. And it was just like, you know, seconds, which sounded like it could have been developed into great pop songs. So I took it upon myself to develop those tiny wee bits into an album called Fingertips by a group called They Might Be Gannets,
Oh yes, I've seen you
another of my
mention that.
alter
Yeah.
egos. And so, yeah, developed that. So they actually do Fingertips every time live. I've seen them live. They do that now, Fingertips, the whole suite of songs all together. But incredible. Last time I saw them in Glasgow, they did a song backwards. You know, they
Okay.
played it backwards at the end of. They supported themselves, so they did two sets, and they did this song backwards. Sapphire Bullets of Pure Love. Played it backwards and said, "Right, that's recorded now. We'll play it backwards when we come back on," because they'd recorded. And then when they came back on, they played it over the video of the song backwards. So, do you know what I mean? Does that sound?
Well, I don't
Anyway,
know
it's
this album
bizarre.
at all, but I've mentioned on a few others that I do a lot of driving with work, often 2 or 3 hour drives, and I always make myself a playlist. I'm not away again for a couple of weeks. I've had a bit of a mad term being away, but a fortnight on Monday, I will have a drive down to Cardiff. So I will put Apollo 18 on my Monday
Oh,
morning playlist and give it a
great
listen on the
album.
way down.
Great album. Yeah.
So why this particular song? The song's called Turn Around. Why this one?
Turn Around is just, oh, it's the lyrics, I think, more than anything. But it's a great tune. And just hold on, I'm just looking at it now. We were waving our arms out the window of a fast-moving passenger train, acting in an irresponsible fashion, until the engineer, whose back had been turned and who we thought would find us highly amusing, quickly swiveled his head around, and his face, which was a paper white mask of evil, sang us this song. Turn around. I mean, who else is writing stuff like this? You know, this genius.
I was working all night in my office when a man I had recently killed called me up from a phone near my building. So I looked out the window at him. He had the same obsequious manner that was the reason I had him killed. So to calm my nerves, I sang this song to him over the phone. Turn around, turn around. There's a thing there that can be found. Turn around, turn around. It's a human skull on the ground. Human skull on the ground. Turn around. I was out by myself in the graveyard. I was doing an interpretive dance when I felt something heavy and pointed strike me in the back of my neck. And then the ghost of my dance instructor pushed me down into an open grave. And as dirt rained down, she played a xylophone and sang me this song. Turn around, turn until the engineer who's back at the turn, and who we thought would find us highly amusing, quickly swiveled his head around, and his face, which was a paper white mask of evil, sang us this song. Turn around, turn around, there's a thing there that can be found. Turn around, turn around, it's a human skull on the ground. Human skull on the ground. Turn around, turn around, turn around, there's a thing there that can be found. Turn around, turn around, it's a human skull on the ground. Human skull on the ground. Turn around, turn around.
Right then, Tommy, before we get to your finale choice, what does the future hold for the Daily Reckless and any other projects you're up to? You mentioned you've got a radio show.
Yeah, I do that every Monday afternoon. Well, I pre-record it. It goes out every Monday afternoon on indielive.radio. And it's just a eclectic selection of songs that I like, along with stuff that I've done. It's just the cramped stuff that I've done. I did do one show which were all my songs, and they're all my different pseudonyms and alter egos, just to cram it all in there. But that's good fun. And yeah, I'm still keeping up the Daily Reckless. New song every day. Well, not always a new song every day, but it's definitely a song every day. So I've got such a huge back catalogue. There's thousands of songs now. But I've just recently finished doing Finnegan's Wake album.
Yeah, I saw you'd done a bit of stuff about that. I haven't had a chance to look into it. So what are you doing with that?
It was these guys that do a podcast called Wake. One's in Australia, the other one's in America. And it was a cold reading of Finnegan's Wake, which is a book I've always wanted to read, but picked up and gone, God, I can't read this.
I've done exactly the same. Yes, I've picked it.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
But the trick is, don't read it. Hear somebody else read it.
Okay.
And it's like music. It's brilliant when other people read it. And these guys just read it cold. You know, they didn't do an academic analysis of it. They just went through it cold. First time they'd ever read it. And it took over a year, you know, okay, because it's such a long thing, you know, one podcast a week. And it was fascinating just to hear people. And it was really funny as well in bits, because it just looks ridiculous when you try to read it to yourself like a normal book. It just doesn't work. You've got to hear people reading it, and preferably a lot of people, a lot of different voices and stuff like that. And it's just a brilliant experience. And I'm just so glad that I've finally experienced that book. So glad I had to do an album about it.
Okay. Because I do love a bit of Joyce. In fact, the last few pages of The Dead, you know, from Dubliners, I think is possibly the greatest piece of writing in the English language ever. I can't really think of anything that's any better. It's the sort of last sort of 5 pages. Well, yeah. Well, I'll have to look into it and find out. Okay, so we'll go on to your finale track, and this is notable in that this is the first you are going to be. Let me just check on my spreadsheet. You are going to be episode 18 of this podcast, and this is notable because this is the first artist to be chosen 3 times.
Really?
So we've had 2 people go for Sparks before now. 2 Ians, funny enough. Ian Forth in episode 2, and Ian Grice, my good friend, whose episode is going out tonight, actually, when we finished. Both of them went for something from, the album's name, escaped my mind, the Kimono one.
Kimono My House.
Yeah. Kimono My House, that's the one. I wanted to say Kimono My Dragon, but I knew that wasn't right. Yes, they've both gone for a song from that. You've gone for something from the album Propaganda. And I must confess, I didn't know this song. And Sparks is still a band that I listen to and think, yeah, that's okay, but I just can't quite get into it somehow. But go on, tell us about the song you've gone for.
It's Never Turn Your Back on Mother Earth by Sparks. It's one of those songs that I think, this is definitely my favourite Sparks song. It's one of those things that changes every week, you know, like this is definitely my favourite fall song. But this one always keeps coming back up because I've always loved it. It's just one of those ones that the back of your neck, the hairs in the back of your neck stand up and all that sort of thing. It's just a gorgeous song. And as you say, not a lot of people know it, although it was a single, but it's just superb the way it builds up towards the end. And this is another group. It's unbelievable to me that they're still going. I mean, they're so old. They're even older than me. And
I must confess, I did quite
believe-
I did quite like the new single whose name escapes me. I've seen the video of him walking along a street. Do you know what it's
and the
called?
piano falls down.
Yes, that's the one.
Aye, I forgot what that
My
one's
Own
called.
Thing or
They've
something it's
released
called?
3 recently.
Is it called Do My Own Thing? Something like that.
Yeah,
Something
could be
like that.
right.
I did quite enjoy that. Yeah, so maybe I should give the new album a go.
Aye.
Okay, well, congratulations to Sparks on being the first artist to reach a hat trick on Steve's mixtapes. So this is Tommy's finale track, Never Turn Your Back on Mother Earth.
When she's on her best behavior, don't be tempted by her favors. Never turn your back on Mother. Times are hurled from A to B by hands that look so smooth to me. Never turn your back on Mother. Never turn your back on Mother. 3 days and 2 nights away from my friends, I might do anything that brings a quick return to my friend. To my friend. Never turn your back on Mother. Well, I'll admit I was unfaithful, but for now I'll be more faithful. Never turn your back on Mother. Never turn your back on Mother. Never turn your back on Mother.
From their 1974 album Propaganda, that was Sparks with Never Turn Your Back on Mother Earth, the final finale choice of my guest mixer this week, Tommy Mackay. Well, just remains to say, Tommy, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's been
Yeah.
good fun. Yeah.
Yes, it has. It's been
I forgot to give a plug to the book that I'm writing now, which is
go on then.
it's a reckless history of the 21st century. Just in
Okay.
case it ever comes out, I have said it live in the world.
Okay. I shall look forward to it with great anticipation, Tommy.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. It's been a lot of fun. So yeah, it's been great. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve. Cheers.